Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much, Amit. Welcome, dear audience, ladies and gentlemen, our dear students and faculties from various universities across the country. Myself, Neeraj Arora, Senior Director at ASSOCHAM, would like to welcome you all for this JAM Green Building Certification Training and Online Examination. So friends, as you all know that we are doing this monthly training on JAM Sustainability Certification Program and online examination since last 4-5 months, and this is our fifth program in the series, and we are receiving wonderful response from all of you. That this time I would like to mention that we got around 1700 plus registrations for this webinar. So friends, as we mentioned that this webinar is absolutely free to attend, and those who wish to take the examination, JAM CP examination, and would like to take the certificates and would like to become JAM certified professional will have to take the online JAM certified professional examination. So this is for your information. And today again we have very wonderful eminent speakers with us, those who have wonderful experience in sustainability and green buildings. So we have with us architect Anurag Vajpayee. He is the director Green Tree Global and is the co-chairman of ASSOCHAM JAM UP State Chapter. Anurag has a wonderful experience of executing green building certification program, green building certifications, energy efficiency projects, water efficiency projects, energy auditing projects, and he is a co-founder and director and head sustainability division at Green Tree Global. He has an extensive experience of 14 years with core expertise on energy efficiency implementation. His work assignments include working with the BEE, NTPC, BHEL, CPWD, Airport Authority of India, USAID, UNDP, CLASP, PWD, NBCC, SDAs, railways, and metro, etc. Wonderful. He is a certified measurement and verification professional by AEE, a certified Griha evaluator, JAM certified professional, IGBC AP, and an ECBC expert empaneled with Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Besides, he also serves as a board member of International Building Performance and Simulation Association, IBPSA, and a member of core committee of ECBC, ASSOCHAM JAM, Griha, IGBC, FSCI, and SEAM India. He has previously worked with Siemens Power and USAID Eco3 project. He is the co-chairman of ASSOCHAM JAM UP chapter as well. So welcome Anurag ji for this JAM training and examination training. Welcome to you. Next we have with us a very eminent speaker, Engineer Ashu Gupta. He is Managing Director, Design to Occupancy Services LLP, and an executive member of ASSOCHAM JAM National Council. Ashu Gupta's career span across several diverse domains. He commenced his career as a mechanical engineer in 2008. Now he is a managing partner of Design to Occupancy Services LLP. Mr. Gupta is very active volunteers in various building engineering societies like ISHRE, ASHRE, FSCI, IAQA, IBPSA, ISLE, ASSOCHAM JAM, and IAEMP at the local and national level as well as international level. He is a JAM certified professional, IGBC AP, PQP, and BEE certified ECBC master trainer. He loves to share knowledge, and he has trained more than 8,000 architects, engineers, consultants, and government officials about ECBC. Currently, he is a National Advocacy Vice Chair, ISHRE, ARVC, YA of ISHRE, RAL, Sub Region 3, 2nd. In Feb 2013, he was nominated as the ASHRE Young Face of Engineering in the winter of 2013. In December 14, he received Rajasthan Energy Conservation Award for contribution to state energy conservation efforts in individual category. In December 18, he received UP Energy Conservation Award for contribution to state energy conservation efforts in individual category. In January 19, he received Developing Leader Award by ASHRE. So wonderful experience. So we have great experienced faculties today. So friends, we are hopeful that you will gain lots of knowledge on JAM certified professional training and examination today with our eminent speakers. Now I will not take much of your time and would like to invite architect Anurag Vajpayee for his session. Over to you, Anurag ji.
Thank you very much, Neeraj Arora ji. Thank you, SOCHM, GEM Council for the opportunity. And as we see, today we have a great session because the number is going increasingly high. We already have almost like 250 students, and the target was almost like 2000. So the presentation that we are going to make today is a basic general principles on sustainability aspects, or what we feel that with these specific simple terms, uh, the students will certainly need to explore the opportunities where they'll have a job opportunities, what the subjects that they can learn. My colleague Ashu will also be touching upon all the aspects in terms of energy and others. So we are all are going to discuss and deliberate and explain what we have learned so far in last 14-15 years in this industry so far. So, my dear friends, I have worked with architect Charles Correa in my early career age, and I have also seen how the architecture practice is being defined by different set of spaces. For example, we have also seen the spaces in terms of the built mass, which were designed like with Jharokha, Jalis, courtyard plannings, and a lot of trees in and around buildings. But nowadays, when we look at these buildings, which are a bit modern, I'm not saying that there is any issue in these buildings, but they look modern. Certainly, whenever you be in India or you be outside in developing countries, more developed countries, you will certainly see the similar set of buildings there as well. In India also, we see a lot more these buildings. They have all the specific built design aspects which we see as architecture and engineering component in together. And that is where we see such buildings which are, let's say, the super efficient buildings, super platinum, or we have 5 gem 4 gem star rated buildings as well. We always see an opportunity in terms of learning from different aspects of the buildings. But in general, if we look at the core of all these aspects, even core of the human body, we always see the a very specific component which we can always correlate, like Vayu, Agni, Jal, Akash, and Bhumi. They all are very much like related to the built environment. They all are related to the emotional, intellectual, and social well-being of the human body. हम लोग बहुत आसानी से वायु को कोरिलेट कर सकते हैं, हम लोग आसानी से अग्नि को कोरिलेट कर सकते हैं, जल, आकाश, भूमि, इन सब से दे आर कॉल्ड एज ए पंचभूता और 5 एलिमेंट्स ऑफ नेचर. वायु जो कि हमें काम करती है, हमारे लिए बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट्स की तरह है, हमारे लिए एक लाइफलाइन की तरह है, पीसफुलनेस भी प्रदान करती है. अग्नि जिसके हमें एक तरीके का देखा जाए तो जो हमारे जील जिसे बोलते हैं, हमें एक काम करने की इच्छा है, ये सब चीजें हमें उस कंपोनेंट से मिलती हैं. आज हम सब लोग यहाँ पर डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं, आप लोग यहाँ पे आए हैं सीखने के लिए, डिस्कशन करने के लिए. यू ऑल्सो नीड टू एक्सप्लोर कि किस तरह से डिफरेंट एलिमेंट्स जो है हमें अपने आपको सिखाते हैं, और फिर इस तरीके से एक तरीके की एक इच्छा शक्ति डेवलप होती है. जैसे अग्नि का पर्पस क्या है हमारी लाइफ में, कि ये हमारे लिए एक विजन क्रिएट करती है, हमें एक ज्वाला जिसे बोलते हैं कि आपको एक दृढ़ निश्चय शक्ति प्रदान करती है. इस तरह के जो भी एस्पेक्ट्स है, दे ऑल आर गवर्न्ड बाय दिस सेकंड एस्पेक्ट्स, जल एज इट फ्लोज. तो इसमें एक निरंतरता जिसे बोलते हैं कंटिन्यूटी, दैट is resembled from this particular element. Akash, it's pretty much like जैसे स्पेस की जो फीलिंग है, दैट you just look at the sky and you can find out the difference in terms of what your size and what the size of the space. So एक अनंतहीन जो फीलिंग है वो इस पर्टिकुलर एलिमेंट से आती है. एंड भूमि, एज वी ऑल अंडरस्टैंड, there is also a very much correlated para. हम सब लोग यही बोलते हैं कि हम सब लोगों को जमीन से जुड़े रहना चाहिए. उसी तरीके से ये 5 तत्वों की तरह अगर हम लोग अपने बिल्डिंग के जो इन्वायरमेंट है, बिल्डिंग का जो कंपोनेंट है, अगर हम उसको कोरिलेट करने की बात करें, तो हमारे लिए एक 5 बेसिक एलिमेंट्स हम लोग बिल्डिंग्स में देखते हैं. और यही बेसिक एलिमेंट्स पे जो हमारा जीएम रेटिंग का जो प्रोविजन है वो सब किए गए हैं. एनर्जी इफिशिएंसी, और इन सब 5 एलिमेंट्स के हिसाब से भी वी आल्सो नीड टू लुक एट द स्पेसिफिक एरियाज जहाँ पे आप लोगों के लिए बहुत अपॉर्चुनिटीज भी हैं. तो आई ऑल्सो एक्सप्लेन कि जैसे एनर्जी इफिशिएंसी में कहाँ कहाँ पे आप लोगों के लिए अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं. जब हम लोग बिल्डिंग्स की बात करते हैं और एनर्जी इफिशिएंसी की बात करते हैं, सर्टेनली एनर्जी कंजप्शन अपने अगर आप लोग घर से रिलेट करें, यू कैन ऑलवेज रिलेट की जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कंजप्शन है, चाहे वो फैन से हो, एसी से हो, लाइट से हो, इन सब का आपको इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल देना होता है. एनर्जी इफिशिएंसी में जो अपॉर्चुनिटीज जॉब प्रोस्पेक्ट्स के थ्रू हैं, चाहे वो मैन्युफैक्चरर साइड से हो, चाहे वो कंसल्टिंग साइड से हो, ये सब चीजें आप लोग एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हैं. बट एनर्जी इफिशिएंसी इज वेरी मच लाइक रिलेटेड टू द मेन कोर एस्पेक्ट ऑफ सस्टेनेबिलिटी, क्योंकि यहीं पे ऑलमोस्ट लाइक 30 to 40% ऑफ जो कंसंट्रेटेड क्रेडिट दिए गए हैं जेम रेटिंग में, वो भी इसी एस्पेक्ट्स को कवर करते हैं. किस हिसाब से आप अपनी बिल्डिंग का एनर्जी सेव कर सकते हैं. वाटर एफिशिएंसी, वाटर हम सब लोगों की एक अमूल्य कमोडिटी की तरह हम लोग इसको यूज करते हैं. पहले के कंपैरिजन में आज के टाइम में जब हम लोग वाटर की बात करते हैं, पानी की बात करते हैं, लाइफ के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट दूषित होता जा रहा है. किस हिसाब से हम लोग वाटर की सेविंग कर सकते हैं, ये इस रेटिंग का एक मेन मुद्दा है. और इस तरह से वाटर एफिशिएंसी कंपोनेंट में जहाँ पे हम लोग बिल्डिंग के अंदर कैसे हम वाटर कंज्यूम कम करें, बिल्डिंग के बाहर हम वाटर कंजप्शन कम कैसे करें, और जो भी हम लोग अंदर बिल्डिंग में यूज करते हैं उसको हम रिसाइकिल या रीयूज कैसे करें, इन सब को इस कंपोनेंट में कवर किया गया है. आप देखिए एनर्जी, अग्नि, जल, वाटर एफिशिएंसी, सब चीजें कैसे कोरिलेट कर सकते हैं. वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट, आज के टाइम में हम लोग जैसे इंडियन स्पेसिफिक कंटेंट के हिसाब से देख लें, तो हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी भी इस चीज को बहुत कोर से इसको एडवोकेट करते हैं, इसको आगे बढ़ाते हैं. और हम लोग बात करते हैं जैसे स्वच्छ भारत का जो विजन है, जो सपना है, और हम लोग सब लोग को उसमें सहयोग भी देना चाहिए. वहाँ पे वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ी रिक्वायरमेंट है. और वो वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट कोई दूसरा आकर के करेगा, उससे पहले हम सब लोगों को शुरू करना पड़ेगा. तो इट स्टार्ट्स विद योरसेल्फ. हम सब लोग जानते हैं कि वेस्ट जो हम लोग जनरेट करते हैं उसमें उसकी कैटेगरीज होती हैं, चाहे वो हम ड्राई वेस्ट कह लें, वेट वेस्ट कह लें. इन सब लोकेशंस का जो कंपोनेंट है, इन सब का जो पार्ट है, वो कम से कम कैसे हम लोग उसको डिस्पोजल करते हैं, कैसे हम उस वेस्ट टू एनर्जी प्लांट लगाते हैं, इन सब के बारे में भी हमारे रेटिंग सिस्टम में बताया गया है. इंडोर इन्वायरमेंटल क्वालिटी, ये सब लोग हम जानते हैं. जैसे अभी रिसेंटली वी हैव हर्ड कि पंजाब में स्टबल बर्निंग शुरू हो गई है. धीरे धीरे दिल्ली आसपास के जो नॉर्थ रीजन के जो स्टेट्स हैं, वहाँ पे पोल्यूशन का कंपोनेंट बढ़ने लगा है या बढ़ना शुरू हो जाएगा. वी हैव सीन दिस एक्टिविटी फॉर लास्ट 2, 3, 5 years, and we have been suffering from this time and this menace with respect to our ह्यूमन बॉडी अ लॉट. और इसीलिए शायद इंडोर इन्वायरमेंटल क्वालिटी की जो बातचीत है इन टर्म्स ऑफ इम्पोर्टेंस इन द ग्रीन बिल्डिंग रेटिंग्स, वो बहुत तेजी से बढ़ गया है. जो हम लोग बात करते हैं कि हमारा फ्रेश एयर अंदर होना चाहिए, फ्रेश एयर की जो क्वालिटी है वो कितनी होनी चाहिए, CO2 लेवल कितना होना चाहिए, ये सब चीजों को इम्पोर्टेंस दी गई है. मटेरियल रिसोर्सेज, एज इट द टर्म इटसेल्फ सेज, कि जितने भी हम लोग बिल्डिंग के मटेरियल की बात करते हैं, उन सब में कहीं ना कहीं हमारे लिए एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है. हम लोग सही मटेरियल यूज करें, नेचुरल मटेरियल या रिसोर्सेज का यूटिलाइजेशन कम करें, रेदर रिसाइकल्ड मटेरियल्स का, फ्लाई ऐश का, जैसे मटेरियल जिसकी इम्बॉडीड एनर्जी कम हो, उन सब मटेरियल्स को ज्यादा यूज करें। आप देखिए जितने भी बेसिक कंपोनेंट जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, एनर्जी, वाटर, वेस्ट, इंडोर क्वालिटी मटेरियल, इन सब में आप सब लोगों के लिए जॉब एस्पेक्ट्स अपॉर्चुनिटीज बहुत ज्यादा है। इन सब चीजों को हम अगर क्यूमुलेटिवली मिला दें तो शायद हमारी एक जो रेटिंग की हम लोग आज बातचीत कर रहे हैं, एसोचेम जेम रेटिंग की, उन सब में ये सब चीजों को एक डिटेल स्ट्रक्चर के थ्रू डिफाइन किया गया है। नाउ व्हेन वी लुक एट द रेटिंग एज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी स्कोप, जैसे आप सब लोग अभी आज का जो फ्री वेबिनार है अटेंड कर रहे हैं, उसके बाद जेम सर्टिफाइड प्रोफेशनल का एक एग्जाम है जिसको आप लोग देंगे, और उस एग्जाम देने के बाद में ये सब जो हम लोग आज के डिस्कशंस वेबिनार में कर रहे हैं, उन सब के बारे में आप लोग को डिटेल में इंफॉर्मेशन मिलेगी, और अपने क्रेडेंशियल्स भी इस तरह से आप अपग्रेड कर सकते हैं, बढ़ा सकते हैं। नाउ दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट्स, बिकॉज जैसे ही आप लोग अभी कॉलेज में हैं, फिर जैसे आप लोग बाहर जाएंगे, you should be industry ready. This is really important because we all have been running the organization for last 10 or 11 years. We always look at these aspects a lot कि कौन सा स्टूडेंट, अगर हम लोग फ्रेशर के लिए जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज होती हैं बहुत सारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में, दिस इज वन थिंग व्हिच वी ऑलवेज लुक एट, व्हाट आर द अदर specific credentials that the student or the fresher graduate has in the CV, apart from certainly the good numbers in the profile. तो ये सब चीजें बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। आई जस्ट शो यू थ्रू किस हिसाब से बिल्डिंग का जो एफिशिएंसी कंपोनेंट है, एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी कंपोनेंट है, किस हिसाब से अचीव होता है। एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी के अलावा आई विल आल्सो ट्राई टू टेक यू थ्रू अबाउट द जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज एस्पेक्ट्स इन दीज स्पेसिफिक सोफिस्टिकेटेड एरियाज, ताकि आप लोग अपने लिए अगर कुछ इस प्रेजेंटेशन से अचीव कर सकते हैं, आई विल बी रियली बी हैप्पी आउट ऑफ माय प्रेजेंटेशन। जब हम लोग बिल्डिंग की बात करते हैं तो सर्टेनली द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट विजिबल इज द एनवलप। तो वो एनवलप जब हम लोग विलेज से लेकर के सेमी अर्बन लोकेशन और अर्बन लोकेशन से बात करते हैं, यू ऑल हैव रियलाइज्ड कि बिल्डिंग की जो डिजाइन है वो गांव में बिल्कुल अलग होती है। छोटे छोटे घर होते हैं, जनरली मिट्टी के बने होते हैं या छोटे घर होते हैं, उनकी विंडो की जो साइज है वो कम होती है। जैसे जैसे आप सेमी अर्बन लोकेशन में जाएं, आप देखिए घर के साइज बढ़ जाते हैं। ज्यादातर जो घर होते हैं वो सिंगल स्टोरी, डबल स्टोरी के बनते हैं। जैसे आप अर्बन लोकेशंस की बात करते हैं, दिल्ली, बॉम्बे, बैंगलोर एंड एक्सेट्रा, आप देखिए वो 10 स्टोरी, 15 स्टोरी, 20 स्टोरी, एंड लेट्स से in our vicinity there is a building which is coming up, it's almost like 68 storied high residential. तो इस तरीके के माहौल में जो लोग रहते हैं, उनकी लाइफस्टाइल में बहुत सारे परिवर्तन अपने आप स्वाभाविक है आना। इस तरीके की एक्टिविटीज के लिए कौन से ऐसे एलिमेंट्स हों जिसके थ्रू जो घर के अंदर का जो माहौल है, जो वातावरण है, उसको कैसे हम कंफर्टेबल बना सकते हैं। व्हाट आर द वेज थ्रू व्हिच वी कैन मेक द इंडोर एनवायरनमेंट मोर कंफर्टेबल। द फर्स्ट थिंग कम्स इज द एनवलप। वी ऑल अंडरस्टैंड, हम सब लोग बाहर से भी देखते हैं और उसको अप्रिशिएट भी करते हैं, और वो चीज जिसको हम लोग बिल्डिंग टेक्नोलॉजी या बिल्डिंग डोमेन में इसको टर्म को यूज करते हैं, उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं एनवलप। एज द नेम सजेस्ट, एनवलप हमेशा वॉल, विंडोज और रूफ से मिलकर के बनता है। उसके स्पेसिफिक मटेरियल की जो कंपोनेंट है, दैट डिफाइंस कि कितना हमारा बाहर का जो गर्मी है, बाहर का जो नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज हैं, जैसे लाइट हो गया, या बाहर का जो हमारा बारिश होता है, वो कितना हम अंदर ले सकते हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ ह्यूमिडिटी, इन टर्म्स ऑफ डे लाइट, इन टर्म्स ऑफ हीट, वो हमारे एनवलप कंपोनेंट डिफाइन करता है। ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है, or there is a lot of opportunity in this aspect in terms of the new professional career options, क्योंकि बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज कंपनीज इसी एरियाज में है। सिविल कंस्ट्रक्शन में बहुत सारी कंपनीज हैं, कंस्ट्रक्शन कराने वाली कंपनीज हैं, मटेरियल मैन्युफैक्चर वाली कंपनीज हैं, एंड सर्टेनली द डिजाइन कंसल्टिंग फर्म्स, दे आर देयर वेरी वेरी मच। सेकंड एस्पेक्ट बिल्डिंग का अगर हम लोग देखते हैं तो लाइटिंग एफिशिएंसी। लाइटिंग सब लोग बहुत आसानी से इसको कोरिलेट करते हैं. I'm not too sure how many of you have seen and visualize the change in terms of the lighting technology. But पहले इनकैंडेसेंट बल्ब यूज होता था जिसको हम लोग टंगस्टन वायर यूज करते थे उसमें, और उसके जो कंजप्शन था वो ज्यादा होता था. इट वाज ऑलमोस्ट गिविंग द येलो लाइट और ऑफ येलो लाइट उस समय. फिर उससे एनर्जी इफिशिएंसी का एस्पेक्ट शुरू हुआ 2006-7 से, जब CFL कॉम्पैक्ट फ्लोरेसेंट लाइट का टेक्नोलॉजी आया. It reduces the energy consumption a lot in terms of lighting industry. पर उसके बाद जब से LED आया है 2010 onward, you have seen the tremendous adoption and the change. let's say 5 साल में LED incandescent से CFL में और CFL से LED में पूरी चीजें चेंज हो गई. मतलब द होल इंडस्ट्री गॉट रिवाइज्ड, changed with respect to the latest technology, with respect to the best technology, or I would say the best energy efficient technology. तो इसलिए क्या है कि it also shows us the path that the moment there is a better technology available, better efficiency available, the industry will adopt the technology without thinking much. And that exactly what has happened in this case. Now, with Ashu will apparently discuss a lot in terms of air conditioning and other aspect, but this is something that will give you a lot more opportunity with respect to job aspects. किस हिसाब से हमारी air conditioning industry grow कर रही है. In terms of technology, I would not say that technology has grown and has given a lot of, let's say, out of the roof or outstanding equipment or the technology, but it has grown a lot in terms of adoption of air conditioning from mechanical ventilation side. आप देखिए जब लोग पहले के घर बनाते थे या ऑफिस बनते थे, आप लोगों में से बहुत सारे लोग शायद उस एज में थे जहाँ पे शायद ये सब चीजें बहुत ध्यान में नहीं रखी जाती हैं, बिकॉज यू आर सर्टेनली ग्रोइंग एंड स्पेंडिंग लॉट ऑफ टाइम इन प्लेइंग अराउंड. एंड देन जहाँ पे मेटाबॉलिक रेज इतने ज्यादा होते हैं बॉडी के कि आपको कंफर्ट एज ए बॉडी रिक्वायरमेंट बहुत फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. बट द मोमेंट यू कीप ग्रोइंग इन योर प्रोफेशनल करियर और एक कॉलेज से निकल करके ऑफिस में जाते हैं, ऑफिस से निकल करके अपने घर में जाते हैं, and then you will certainly see lot more these changes and the requirement that come obvious to your human body. और इसी तरीके से हम लोग एयर कंडीशनिंग की जो एडॉप्शन रेट है which has been very tremendous. 20-25 साल पहले लोग बिल्डिंग डिजाइन करते थे, एयर कंडीशन को ध्यान में रख करके नहीं करते थे. they were all naturally ventilated buildings. Or as I said that I worked with Charles Correa and a lot of buildings that he himself has designed, and I was working with him in Mumbai. And the main focus was very much on कि natural ventilation किस हिसाब से किस directions में, what is the size of the void or the space or the cutout in different facade of the building. ये सब चीजों बहुत discussions होता था. There were so many models that were prepared, and they were not the simulation or the tool models that I'm talking about. They were like physical life size projects की बात करते हैं. 6-8 फुट के buildings कार्डबोर्ड से लकड़ी से बनाई जाती थी. Out of you whoever are architects or aspiring architects, you can understand this as a requirement कि किस हिसाब से ये aspect कितना important होता है building design के लिए. But coming back to the air conditioning, this is something which is very important. छोटे DX direct expansion unit से लेकर के VRF VRV system और फिर air cooled chiller system, and then talking about the centralized air conditioning system, water cooled chiller system, जहाँ पे बहुत सारे component होते हैं, चाहे वो पंप हो, मोटर्स हो, चाहे वो चिलर्स हो, कूलिंग टावर हो, एयर हैंडलिंग यूनिट्स हो, they all have a lot of equipment requirement, their maintenance requirement, and certainly the opportunities for the young engineers belonging to mechanical side. A lot of industry supported programs, they are there. फॉर यू टू लर्न, जैसे इशरे का प्रोग्राम है, एशरे का प्रोग्राम है, जिसमें बहुत सारी इस तरह की अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं आप सब लोगों के लिए उसमें सीखने के लिए, एंड देन मेकिंग योर करियर इन दैट पर्टिकुलर एस्पेक्ट। इलेक्ट्रिकल पावर, जो लोग इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर हैं, आई एम श्योर लाइक फर्स्ट ईयर से लेकर के फोर्थ ईयर तक सब लोग यही पढ़ते हैं कि इलेक्ट्रिकल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन पावर प्लांट से होकर के सबस्टेशन, ऑफिस सबस्टेशन से होकर के यूटिलिटीज, एंड देन जो भी आप लोग के यूटिलिटीज में घर हो गया, ऑफिस हो गया, फैक्ट्रीज हो गया, इंडस्ट्रीज हो गया, वो इसमें लगा दें। One more thing is very much important, which we see as a consulting organization, the power quality aspects. It's going to be a very very important aspect in India in times to come, because बहुत सारी hazardness है in terms of equipment usage, equipment type, even the power resources also. So there are different kind of power which is getting generated. There is a transition process which is uh, by the grid, and then there is a load shedding arrangement. But the power quality is one thing which has been the ignorant component in India, and we see that there will be a lot of opportunities in this domain in times to come as well. So आप लोग अपने अपने हिसाब से कुछ कुछ एरियाज जिसमें आप लोग को पसंद होते होंगे, आई एम श्योर लाइक यू मस्ट बी हैविंग अ सम सर्टेन विजन कि क्या करना है, नहीं भी है तो भी कोई बहुत ऐसा एस्पेक्ट नहीं है। ये सब प्रोग्राम्स इसीलिए हैं, सो दैट यू कैन बिल्ड योर thought process, you can understand that the opportunities they are there, and then you can always take the guidance from the organizations like ASSOCHAM and other organizations as well in this domain. अपॉर्चुनिटीज के हिसाब से देखिए, देयर आर सर्टेन एस्पेक्ट्स, जैसे बिल्डिंग की ये डिजाइन की बात करें, विच वी हैव डिजाइन इन कन्नौज, इट्स प्रीटी स्मॉल टाउन in UP, Uttar Pradesh, and you can see that the moment you talk about the size of the specific fenestration of the window, then what direction the window is certainly one thing, and then what size of the window, and then what material that the window has in terms of whether it is a glass 5 or 7 or 12 or maybe more in terms of 24 glass. So बहुत सारी variations हैं, and design specifically एक अपने आप में comprehensive और complex process है which you all have to learn, and this is one of the tools that we have used to identify to ascertain कि building के अंदर daylit space कितने हो सकते हैं in terms of regularly occupied spaces which we talk about, और कितना daylight आ रहा है और उस daylight को control कैसे कर सकते हैं. The moment enough daylight is available, then what are the ways through which we can avoid using artificial lighting systems, ताकि हमारा intent in terms of energy savings वो पूरा हो सके. People or students who are studying architecture, it's very very important aspects in terms of landscape designing, which is a very specific skill, and there's a smart ways of designing these aspects as well. कि जब भी हम लैंडस्केप की बात करते हैं, we talk about different component, चाहे वो ग्रास एरियाज हो, चाहे वो ट्री हो, shrubs हो, or even the shades and shadows of the buildings. Then what kind of landscape that we talk about, and in which region that the building lies, all these aspects apparently put together, then we talk about different tools help in identifying the areas which have a longer day shadow, which have the shorter day shadow, and then on these aspects of these specific analysis, you can identify कि हमें वहाँ पे कौन सा ट्री लगाना है, प्लांट करना है, डेसिडुअस ट्रीज चाहिए या एनुअल ट्री चाहिए. इस तरह के डिजाइन एस्पेक्ट्स जो है वो बहुत आसानी से एंड बहुत sophisticated तरीके से डिजाइन को हम लोग जस्टिफाई करते हैं when we talk about these aspects in front of the client. Now, with respect to the opening of the building, the orientation of different blocks in a particular campus, again the same campus that we talk about, we did design it for a government department in UP, and this was certainly one of the requirements कि बीच का जो space, when we talk about in this region, it was assembly space, and a lot of people were supposed to gather in the morning around 10 till 11. इस समय इस रीजन में कितना एयर फ्लो वेंटिलेशन हो रहा है उस डायरेक्शंस में, अगर किसी डायरेक्शंस में जहाँ पे हमारे पास में वेंटिलेशन के लिए डोर्स हैं, विंडोज हैं, ओपरेबल विंडोज हैं, ये सब aspects they are very very important in terms of building design, and there is a lot of opportunity in as a job prospects in this domain as well. And again, a few of the aspects like earth air tunnel and etc, people who are becoming a mechanical engineer from the colleges or in other field like architecture, they can talk about the passive architecture design, which is the need of the hour at this point of time with respect to the sustainability commitment from the nation and certainly from the globe as well with the current situation. और स्पेसिफिक डीप रूटेड अगर बात करें तो देयर आर सर्टेन मोर सोफिस्टिकेटेड डिजाइन टूल्स विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी, जिसके थ्रू यू कैन एक्चुअली टॉक अबाउट कितना हमारा एयर कंडीशनिंग का लोड ऑप्टिमाइज हो सकता है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द डिफरेंट टेक्नोलॉजी एस्पेक्ट्स, कितने हमारे जो कंट्रोल सिस्टम्स हैं वो किसको लगा दें कि हमारी जो एनर्जी कंजप्शन है वो कम हो जाए, जैसे डे लाइट सेंसर्स लगा दें। आप लोगों में से कुछ लोगों ने हो सकता है कि पब्लिक बिल्डिंग्स में विजिट किया हो, जब भी आप लोग वॉशरूम का डोर जैसे ही पुश करते हैं वैसे ही लाइट जल जाती है। पहले के कंपैरिजन में ये सब चीजें अब थोड़ी सी बहुतायत में या ज्यादा देखने को मिलती हैं। इसका मतलब क्या है कि लोगों में या बिल्डिंग ओनर्स में जो अडॉप्शन का जो रेट है वो धीरे धीरे बढ़ रहा है। क्यों? क्योंकि वॉशरूम में कोई भी जब अंदर करता है तो लाइट ऑन ऑफ नहीं करता है। इट्स अ ह्यूमन नेचर और आई वुड से द लिमिटेशन दैट वी सी। तो ऑटोमेटिक कंट्रोल्स होना बहुत जरूरी है ताकि जब लोग वहां पे हैं तो लाइट रहे, जब लोग नहीं है तो इट्स लाइक not to waste the electricity. That is the motive of these such automatic controls or sensors जो कि available हैं and then we all need to learn them and then we need to utilize them as well. फिर बिल्डिंग मटेरियल की बात होती है, फिर अर्थ एयर टनल, ओरिएंटेशन एंड एक्सेट्रा, डिफरेंट डिजाइन एस्पेक्ट्स जो बिल्डिंग के हैं, जो लोग आर्किटेक्चर इंजीनियरिंग साइड के लोग हैं, जो सिविल साइड के जो लोग हैं, जो they can always understand these aspects better, and जो लोग मैकेनिकल साइड के हैं they can understand the design aspects with respect to the electrical and mechanical component की। उन सब लोगों के लिए इस तरह की जो इंफॉर्मेशन है which they can comprehend कि किस हिसाब से बिल्डिंग का जो कंजप्शन है वो एक एज इज केस डिजाइन, जैसे इस केस में सबसे लोवेस्ट लाइन है, फिर उसका ओरिएंटेशन से कैसे कम होता है, फिर अर्थ एयर टनल जो हमारा पैसिव कूलिंग डिजाइन टेक्नोलॉजी है उससे कैसे कम होगा, फिर उसके बाद जो सिविल कंपोनेंट है किस हिसाब से कम होता है, और different other component which help the building in terms of optimizing the energy consumption component in the building। फिर जो लोग सॉफ्टवेयर साइड से हैं they can always understand there are different tools available, और नहीं है तो जो लोग कभी कभी जो लोग सॉफ्टवेयर आईटी फील्ड के लोग हैं they also get involved in such companies which are designing such sophisticated tools की किस लोकेशन में कौन सी बिल्डिंग है, उसका रूफ एरिया कितना है, उस रूफ एरिया के बेसिस पे रेडिएशन फॉल कितना है, एंड देन उससे रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी जनरेट कितनी हो सकती है। नाउ I always feel that most of the cases when the IT student or the computer science student visualizes the scope for such skills, they don't find these skills suitable, but I can guarantee and I can bet ये सब opportunities बहुत बहुत तेजी से आ रही हैं in terms of energy management software, in terms of building management software, in terms of different other sophisticated tools जहाँ पे IT CS की लिए भी opportunities बहुत हैं। कुछ स्पेसिफिक अगर मैं जॉब स्पेसिफिक एरियाज की बात करूं आप लोगों के लिए विद रिस्पेक्ट टू जो कि हम लोग ये सब एस्पेक्ट्स ग्रीन बिल्डिंग रेटिंग्स में या एसोचएम जेम जो रेटिंग है जो अभी डिटेल में नीरज जी इसको एक्सप्लेन करेंगे, ये सब जहाँ पे अवेलेबल हैं। एंड देन इन जनरल ट्रेडिशनल कन्वेंशनल प्रैक्टिस की बात करते हैं बिल्डिंग डिजाइन एंड कंस्ट्रक्शन में, तो एक आर्किटेक्ट की रिक्वायरमेंट है, मैकेनिकल इलेक्ट्रिकल प्लम्बिंग या सिविल फील्ड की रिक्वायरमेंट है, ग्रीन बिल्डिंग कंसल्टिंग की रिक्वायरमेंट है, फैसिलिटी मैनेजमेंट की रिक्वायरमेंट है, एंड देन देयर आर डिफरेंट कंपोनेंट व्हिच also require a very deep down or specific deeper understanding of the knowledge. ये अगर मैं बात करूं कि प्री कोविड जब हम लोग बात करते थे लगभग जनवरी और फरवरी के बाद में, उस समय की लगभग ये रिक्वायरमेंट्स थी या जॉब प्रॉस्पेक्ट्स माने जाते थे बिल्डिंग डिजाइन कंस्ट्रक्शन में. Post COVID scenario में we also have seen few more specific areas which also got highlighted. जैसे ventilation expert की requirement बढ़ गई, energy expert की requirement बढ़ गई, because people have started thinking about optimizing the cost component of the building operation. Then we talk about computational fluid dynamics. जो लोग मैकेनिकल साइड के लोग हैं, they can also understand कि किस हिसाब से हम इंजन डिजाइन करते हैं या कुछ एक स्पेसिफिक कंपोनेंट डिजाइन करते हैं जहां पे हम लोग ट्रांजिस या एंसिस इस तरह के टूल्स यूटिलाइज करते हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ ऑप्टिमाइजिंग द एयर फ्लो, और मे बी आई थिंक जजिंग द एयर फ्लो कंपोनेंट इन दैट मैकेनिकल कंपोनेंट. वो अब बिल्डिंग के कंपोनेंट से भी बहुत सारा रिजेम्बलेंस रखता है. सर्टनली द पैरामीटर्स आर चेंज, द वॉल्यूम इज entirely different, but basic principles are remain unchanged. And then we talk about the ducting or air handling units, then life cycle assessment. These are the few areas where we have seen lot of opportunities in current scenario, post COVID, I would say. और छोटी बिल्डिंग से लेकर के बड़ी बिल्डिंग तक सब में अपॉर्चुनिटीज आप लोगों के लिए बहुत हैं. इन टर्म्स ऑफ रेटिंग, दीज आर लाइक द मेन अपॉर्चुनिटीज आई वुड से. एंड देन आप लोगों के कुछ स्पेसिफिक क्वेरीज हैं, देन यू कैन ऑलवेज write to me, anurag@greentree.global, and I'll be really happy to help. So this is from my side, and आप सब लोगों को मेरी तरफ से यही संदेश है या मेरी तरफ से यही information है कि this particular area has a lot of opportunity for you youngsters, and आप सब लोगों को ये मैं यही रिकमेंड करूंगा, आप लोग जेम सर्टिफाइड प्रोफेशनल्स को ऑप्ट करें. और उसमें बहुत सारी इंफॉर्मेशन है जो भी मैंने इस प्रेजेंटेशन में बताया. यू कैन ऑलवेज लर्न एंड सी in the next subsequent couple of presentations from Mr. Neeraj and Ashu, and look forward to the next session. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek ji. Sorry, Anurag ji, for this wonderful presentation. And you have covered all aspects of green buildings. I could see some of the pictures from your daylight model where you were highlighting that how glass selection and window design will help in getting more and more daylight without any glare. And definitely proper window selection and proper window door opening will help us not only the daylight, but to help us receiving more and more fresh air. So in every aspects of daylight or fresh air, I mean, not more, but optimization is the best word to use. So glass selections help us in reducing the energy consumption of the building, because it saves the heat gain to the building. It helps us in receiving proper daylight, so it will help us in reducing the lighting energy consumption also. So this is really very important, and thank you so much for this presentation, Anurag ji. And now friends, I would like to take you through GEM principles. So in my next presentation, it is around 40 minutes long. So I will take you all the principles of GEM program one by one, and out of those principles, energy, daylight, and fresh air will be taken by our third eminent speaker, who is Ashu Gupta. So meanwhile, I'll start my presentation. I'll take you all the aspects of GEM Green Building Certification Program, and in the meantime, I will let you know that how you can register for GEM Certified Professional Examination, how you can take the examination, and how and when you can take the examination, how you can proceed further. So I'm going to share my screen in a while. Just a minute. So hopefully my presentation, you are able to see my presentation. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, thank you so much. So friends, this is all about GEM Green Building Certification Program. So GEM is Green and Eco-Friendly Movement, and this is the Green Building Certification Program of ASSOCHAM. Some of you have already attended our such trainings and such programs. This is the GEM Sustainability Certification Program Reference Guide. This is the second edition of the reference guide. And friends, the plus point and the best thing with the GEM Green Building Certification Program is that it has three programs in a single guide. So it is around a 90 pages reference guide, and this is so smartly designed by our expert architects, engineers, professionals, our team, that we don't need this separate reference guide, separate program for separate kind of building. So it has three types of buildings covered in one reference guide. So it has this reference guide is applicable to residential homes, the commercial offices, and the factory buildings, and the institutional buildings as well. So this reference guide covers four types of building: residential, commercial, institutional, and factory buildings as well. I'll take you through the principles, and during my presentation you will see that how smartly it is covered in a single book. So friends, this is the only program which is based upon Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Energy Conservation Building Code, ECBC 2017, and NBC 2016. So friends, this is the only program which is based upon this reference guide, these reference guides. And this program includes sustainability, energy efficiency, water efficiency, fire and life safety, more green area, indoor air quality, daylight, fresh air, and human comfort. Friends, most of you have gone through ECBC 17 and NBC 16 because you are from building industry. So ECBC is Energy Conservation Building Code 2017. This is the latest version which is prepared by Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Ministry of Power. And NBC is the National Building Code 2016. These are two Bibles, I must say, of our buildings, because one talk about the buildings and one talk about the energy efficiency, daylight, and fresh air things. So this GEM Green Building Certification Program is basically the first indigenous program which is based upon these two reference guides. So friends, if you are going for GEM certification, it means that your building is ECBC compliant already and NBC compliant as well. Next is, so friends, this is the GEM rating levels, GEM 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as you have star rating for electrical equipment like AC, refrigerator, and others, you have GEM rating for the buildings. GEM 1 starts from 40 to 49, 50 to 64, 65 to 84, 85 to 104, and 105 and above. So GEM 5 is 105 points and above, and the maximum points are 135 points. So out of 135 points, if your building achieves 105 points, you will get GEM 5 rating. And again, it has a pre-certification level, it has final certification level. So when your building is under design, under construction, you can have pre-certification for your buildings. This will help you in marketing your buildings well. And if your building is complete, 95% complete, you can go for a final certification. Next is, so friends, this is the entire table of principle 1 to principle 30. It includes, it starts from government approved plans, landscape best practices, plant trees, high albedo materials, rainwater harvesting, parking areas, low flow water fixtures, on-site treatment of grey and black water, irrigation best practices, energy and water metering, waste management, reduced exposure to VOC, judicious use of hardwood and softwood, and energy management best practices, optimal use of natural light, fresh air, and so many. So in these 30 principles, these 135 points are distributed. There are some requirements, those are mandatory, and there are some requirements that are not mandatory, optional. So with this, it covers 135 points overall. And friends, ASSOCHAM Awards this certificate, this plaque and this certificate, these are samples. SM awards this plaque and certificate to the buildings. Those are GEM compliant. So this certificate will be given to your building as well if you certify any building with GEM. And friends, I would like to add here that since last 4 and 5 months, GEM has done wonderful job. We have conducted 45 plus webinars on GEM Green Building Certification Program and various aspects of built environment, sustainability, landscape, lighting, energy efficiency, water efficiency, and so on. And we got 65,000 plus registrations for these webinars. Around 45,000 plus attendees have attended these webinars. So on an average, we got 1,000 plus attendees in each and every webinar. We have launched 9 chapters in various states. Today also at 3 p.m. we are going to launch our GEM Chhattisgarh chapter. So I would request you all to please join us for that program also. We have signed 9 MOUs with the professional organizations. Like a couple of days back, we signed MOU with the IIA, which is the prestigious organization of the architects, and we have signed 45 plus MOUs with the universities. So friends, this is I mean, a huge job, huge exercise done by our all GEM members, and with your support also. Thank you so much. So as mentioned, we have signed the MOUs with the IIA, Indian Institute of Architects, FSCI, ISRE, ISLE, GSES, Smart Habitat Foundation, IAQA, and ASHRAE chapters as well. And friends, this is the certificate which you are going to get if you are going to appear for the GEM Certified Professional Examination. So this certificate will be given by the oldest apex industry chamber, which is ASSOCHAM. So ASSOCHAM will award you this certificate if you take the examination, if you appear for the examination, and if you clear the examination. So friends, around 740 plus professionals, students, and faculties have taken this examination in last 4 and 5 months. And now they are GEM certified professionals. Certificate was given by ASSOCHAM. So friends, but today for this webinar, because this webinar was specially organized for the universities which have signed MOUs with us. So we have reduced the fee, and students can take this examination by just paying a fee of rupees 2,500 plus tax only. So the link is open, and I would request you all to please click on that link, make 2,500 plus tax payment, register for the training, for the examination, and you can take the examination anytime in future. Friends, many times students ask that whether I mean, when they will be able to take the examination. So my answer is that you can register for the examination right now, because for now this fee is very discounted, 2,500 plus only, and you can take the examination anytime in future as per your convenience, because this is an open book exam, online exam. You can take the examination from your house, from your office, or whatever place you want. So don't waste your time, and as far as possible, please register for the examination. These are the universities we have signed the MOUs. As I mentioned, we have signed MOUs with the 45 plus universities across the nation. We have many reputed universities here, and most of you are belong to these universities, because this webinar is specially designed for the students, those who are coming from these universities. So thank you for joining. These are the state chapters which we formed in last 5 months. So now GEM is present in these 8-9 states, and we are soon going to launch our next 4 chapters. So we are increasing our presence very fast, very speedy. Thank you so much for your support. Friends, as I mentioned, it has 2 steps. One, if your building is under design, under construction, under process, you can go for pre-certification. This will help you in getting the marketing done for your projects. It will give you good marketing, good visibility, and once your building is complete, you can go for final certification. So these are the procedures you can follow. It will take you hardly 20-25 days to get the pre-certification if your documents are okay, and 25 to 30 days to get your final certification if your documents are okay. We will definitely do the site visits to your projects. Friends, now we will start going through the principle. I'll try my level best to make you understand with these principles. So first and essential and mandatory principle is that your buildings should be approved by the government. Your plans should be approved by the government, by the local authority. So you must have the land allotment letter in your name. I mean, the name of your, the project owner. Your sites should be approved. You should have government approved site plans with site area, built up area, FAR, parking details, etc. So if your building is approved, your plans are approved, and you are not constructing on a green land, on a farmland, your project will be eligible for GEM certification. And you can see on the right hand top, essential is written. It means this requirement is essential. If your project is not fulfilling this requirement, you will not be able to go for any kind of green building certification. Next is fire and life safety in sustainable buildings. Friends, again, this principle is mandatory, essential. We thought that because this is the only program which has fire and life safety also in the reference guide. So we thought, because green buildings should be fire and life safe also. So for this purpose, we are following the National Building Codes 2016 Part 4, and we are strictly following these requirements. So the buildings, those who are going for GEM certification, will be fire and life safe also. This is the only program which talks about fire and life safety. And for this purpose, we are referring FSSAI Suraksha Index, which is a technical reference guide created by FSSAI, Fire and Security Association of India. And as you have seen that we have signed MOU with FSSAI, so we are referring FSSAI Suraksha Index, Fire Suraksha Index, for making our GEM compliant buildings fire and life safe also. This is mandatory requirement again. Now the principle 6, landscape best practices. It has 4 points. And as mentioned, friends, I told you that in this reference guide, we have covered residential projects, industrial, factory projects, institutional projects, as well as the commercial and other projects. So you can see that we have given the requirements of these 3 different types of buildings in a single book. So for our residential projects, if you want to achieve 1 point, at least 10% of the site area should be green, should be landscape. For 2 points, it should be 15%. And similarly for industrial buildings, for 1 point, 12%, for 2 points, 16%. And for commercial and other projects, for 1 point, 10% building area should be landscape. And for 2 points, 15% area should be landscape. And friends, landscape here means the landscape area, the green area over the mother earth only. We are not talking about the landscape area over roof or basement roof or any other hardscape area. So this landscape area must be over the mother earth only. And we would request you to plant native and adaptive tolerant flora on site. The plants you are installing should be native and adaptive. And if you want to achieve more points, 50% of the landscape area should be planted with native and adaptive plants. So this is the landscape best practices. Now we come to principle 8, high albedo materials, roof and non-roof. So friends, high albedo means the material which has high SRI value. SRI means solar reflective index. It means that how much heat is received by the surface. So 80% of the heat will be reflected. So if your SRI index is 80% or more, 80% of the heat will be reflected. So once the slab or the floor will not, the surface will not receive the heat, it will not transfer the heat inside. So more and more heat will be reflected. So this will happen if we will use high albedo material, high SRI material on the roof and non-roof. So if at least 40% of the parking in the basement or still floor or covered with high albedo material, you will have 1 point. For more than 60% of the parking in the basement or still floor, you will have 2 points. Similarly, if you install open grid grass pavers, you will get 2 points. And if you provide roof vegetation, high albedo materials, or combination of both for more than 70% of exposed roof area, you will have 2 points again. So it has overall 6 points. So what is the outcome? You will have to install the high albedo material, which can be paint, which can be tiled, which can be open grid grass pavers, or which can be landscape area. So this is the requirement. And this is principle 9, rainwater harvesting, recharge or reuse. So friends, we all know that rainwater harvesting is so important. And in this in this principle, what we are talking about is that we request you to install the suitably designed rainwater storage system and recharge pit to cater to roof and non-roof rainwater. So friends, first of all, you can either provide storage system or you can provide the recharge pit, and you are supposed to cater to roof and non-roof rainwater both. So if you are storing or recharging at least 30% of daily rainwater collected from all surfaces, it is essential. If you are doing it for 60%, you will get 2 points. If you are doing it for 90% of the daily rainwater collected, you will get 4 points. And this rainwater can be reused for landscape, flushing, and domestic applications. Friends, at many times, say for example, your water table is high, and the government authority says that the groundwater table is high and groundwater charging is not required. In many locations where the groundwater tables are high, you are not supposed to do any kind of recharging, because as soon as you dig, you will get water. So at those places, you can simply provide the storage only for the roof water, and we will award you the point. So this is how flexible and how practical this GEM certification program is. Because at many times we have seen that many green rating programs, green rating agencies are forcing you to do rainwater harvesting or storage where it is not applicable, because the rules cannot be same for Rajasthan as well as for Assam or Kerala or for Punjab. So this program is a very practical program and a very practical approach. So you can follow this. Principle 10, install low flow water fixture. So friends, again, our council members, our design team has drafted this program very smartly, very actively. You can see here that we are not going to tell you to do any kind of calculation. So friends, while designing this GEM Green Building Certification program, our sole aim was to reduce the efforts done by our consultants. So friends, we have eliminated all types of calculations, calculators, manipulation, everything from this GEM Green Building Certification program. And what we are doing is we are awarding you the point by simply installing the product. Say for example, if you are installing the low flow water fixtures, we are just awarding you the point for just installing the product. If you are installing the product, it means that you are saving the water. So friends, there is no need to do any kind of calculation, because in calculation what we do is we can make 30% saving up to 40-45% by just changing some figures in the calculator. We don't want you to do that. We want you to be practical, straightforward, honest to your projects. So if you install efficient water fixtures with low flow rates, not more than the values listed below, so for each product we will award you 1 point. So if you are using water closet, health faucet, kitchen faucet, wash basin faucet, showers and urinals of the given flow rate, we will award you 1 point. And if you install the sensor based water fixtures, you will be awarded with 1 point. So it has total 7 points. And if you are not installing some of the low fixtures, we will not be awarding you the points. So your overall rating will not hamper. So if you are installing 1 or 2 or 3 out of 7, we will give you the point accordingly. Now principle 11, on-site treatment of grey and black water and reuse for flushing. Friends, again, this principle was very smartly designed by the GEM professionals. what is the requirement? Requirement is that we have to install the on-site wastewater treatment system to treat entire grey and black water from the project. And the quality of treated water must be CPCB and SPCB compliant. So friends, what we are requesting you to install the sewage treatment plant or ETP to treat your grey and black water. What is the grey water? Which is coming out from your kitchens and basins, and what is the black water? Which is coming out from your WCs and urinals. So we want you to treat this water up to tertiary standards, up to as per CPCB and SPCB norms. We will give you 2 points. If you are installing the dwell plumbing in your toilets to reuse that treated water for toilets and many locations where it is not coming in touch, you will be given 2 points. So for that purpose, you will have to install dwell plumbing. And if you are using this treated water for flushing up to 75% and 95%, we will be awarding you 2 points. So friends, this is how the principle is written. Now, the most important point that say at many times in the industrial applications, what we have seen is that the small industries do not install the STP. What they do is they use a common STP which is provided by the municipal corporation, local authorities. So in such cases, we have allowed that you can use that common STP which is provided by the municipal corporation or local authorities, and there is no need to install the STPs within their campus. This is again a huge difference between GEM Green Building Certification Program and other green rating programs, because those programs force you to install STPs within the site, whereas we allow you to use that common STP because it is very unreasonable to tell you to install STPs within a small plot where you have the flexibility, the feasibility, the practicability of the common STP. So this is a very important feature which this GEM Green Building Certification Program has. Similarly, post-occupancy waste management. Friends, this is a wonderful program which is so smartly and so efficiently designed. First of all, how would you calculate your waste? So you will be able to calculate your waste as per NBC 2016 guidelines. It is very clearly written in NBC 16 that for residential refuse, the waste generated per person per day is 0.3 to 0.6 kg. For commercial, it is 0.1 to 0.2 kg. For institutional, it is 0.05 to 0.2 kg per person per day. So this is how you will estimate the total amount of waste generated. Out of the total solid waste generated, 40% may be taken as organic waste and 60% as inorganic waste. And the number of occupants can be taken from the project's MEP DBRs. So friends, this is again where we faced many disconnects between the project's MEP DBRs and the actual reports being submitted to the green rating programs. So we want to eliminate that gap. We want to match your DBRs with the reports you are submitting to GEM Green Building Certification Program. So we have clearly mentioned that you will strictly follow the MEP DBRs and NBC guidelines. That's it. There should not be any mismatch, any gap between the project DBRs and the reports you submit to GEM Green Building Certification Program for certification of your projects. So what you will have to do, you will have to provide the waste bins for biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste at each residential unit, tenant level or floor level, and you will have to provide central collection waste collection yards also. So what you are going to do is you are providing the separate waste bins at each residential unit for both biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste, and at the central location also. So this you will do judiciously for residential projects, commercial projects, institutional and industrial projects as well. And friends, this is the extension of the principle 14. Here we say that after collection, segregation, you are required to install these strategies to include, but are not limited to, vermicomposting, organic waste converter, biogas plant, and project team shall share the capacity sizing calculation for on-site biodegradable waste management system. So what you have to do is you have to implement these strategies for on-site treatment of the entire organic waste you are collecting. So you can take the quantity from NBC guidelines, from MBP DBRs, from the formula given by NBC. You will do the calculation, and then accordingly you will decide that what strategy is suitable for your project, for your location. And you will have to submit the sizing calculations, documents, supporting documents, and so for getting these 4 points. Now comes a very important principle, which is sustainable development of construction engineering. It means that we request you, we suggest you to use the building construction materials judiciously. We request you to use the materials, building construction materials, which has recycled content. And here again, friends, what we have done is we have eliminated the calculations. We have eliminated all the calculators. We are not forcing you to do any calculation, any manipulation, or so to achieve the points. So friends, what we are doing is, like in water fixtures, we were giving you the points for installing the products. Here also we are giving you direct points if you are installing the recycled materials. Say if you are using the facade glass, door window glass, which has the recycled content of more than 15%, we will give you 2 points. If you have 50% of masonry or plaster work, we will give you 1 point. So we are requesting you to use PPC cement for 50% of masonry and plaster work, and for 75% we will give you 2 points. We are requesting you to use fly ash bricks, AAC blocks, or similar products for brickwork. For 40% and 80% brickwork, we will give you 1 and 2 points accordingly. We are requesting you to use fly ash bricks, fly ash in concrete mix. We are requesting you to use these steel bars, which has the recycled content. We suggest you to use the tiles that has again the recycled content. So these are 6 major items which you can use your buildings. And if you are using these 6 items which have recycled content, we will give you 12 points. So friends, this program has given so much of importance to the building recycled materials that it has 12 points, which is huge. Similarly, we request you to use local building construction materials. This is again a principle which is the extension of principle 20. Here we are giving you 6 points. So friends, here we have given you three distances. One is 250, then is 550, then is 850. So we request you to use sand, stone, aggregates, bricks, paver blocks, concrete, which is available within 250 kilometers. Cement, glass, wood products, tiles that are available within 550 kilometers. And the steel and other products within 850 kilometers. And we will award you 6 points. And friends, one most important point is that this distance is not mentioned in the radial distance. It is the pedestrian distance, rail or road distance. Because if you are purchasing sand, stone, steel, bricks, or so, we are not purchasing it. We are not transporting it through aeroplane. So asking for radial distance is very surprising. So here we are requesting you that this distance is not radial. It is the pedestrian distance, rail and road distance, which is easily understandable. So next is principle 22, judicious use of hardwood or softwood. Friends, first of all, ASSOCHAM requests you not to use any kind of wood in your building, any kind of hardwood or softwood in your building. If you are not using any kind of hardwood or softwood in your buildings, door frames, door furniture, we will give you 1 point. And say, you want to use wood, you can use engineered wood products such as MDF, low density fiberboard, and plywood for making door frames, doors, and furnitures. Because these are engineered wood, these are recycled wood, and these boards should be free from urea formaldehyde. And if you are using rapidly renewable materials such as bamboo, cotton, natural rubber, or so, we will be giving you 1 point. So it has total 4 points. First, do not use wood. If you use engineered recycled wood. The wood should be urea formaldehyde free and use rapidly renewable materials. Now, this is principle 23. This will be taken by our next speaker, Ashu Gupta ji. This is principle 25, use of imperishable energy resources. It means we suggest you to use the recyclable, the imperishable energy resources. So you can use solar, wind, biogas or so. So we request you to install on-site imperishable energy systems to offset a part of electrical contract demand of the project. So if you install 5%, 10, 15, 20 or 50% of contract demand of your project, you will get 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 projects, 5 points. And friends, say for example, you do not want to install it on-site. If you want to install it off-site, even though we will award you the point, for 10, 20 and 30%, we will award you 1, 2 and 3 points. And for industrial projects, you can consider only the non-process electrical demand loads for sizing the imperishable energy system capacities. So this is again very wonderful, and we are awarding you maximum 8 points under this principle. This is optimal use of natural light. This will be covered by Ashu Gupta ji. This is healthy indoor air quality. This will again be covered by Ashu Gupta ji. So Ashu Gupta ji will cover energy, daylight and fresh air. These 3 credits will be taken by Ashu Gupta ji. Next is, and last principle 30 is going the extra mile. So friends, although this GEM Green Building Certification Program is very, very flexible, and we are open to listen to all your sustainable efforts. And if you are doing any sustainable effort, any green building effort in your buildings which is not covered in the above principle, even though we will award you point. So you come to us, you mention that that you have done this green feature or this sustainability feature in your project, we will still award you the points. And a number of such points are given in the reference guide. You can download the reference guide from www.green-shm.com. And friends, if you are a GEM certified professional, you will be given 1 point. If you have 2 GEM certified professionals in your team, you will be given 2 points. So this is all about principle of GEM program. So friends, here I am stopping my my presentation, and I would request Mr. Ashu Gupta, who is our next speaker. Mr. Ashu, you are there? Yes.
Yes.
Ashu, welcome. So friends, I have covered all GEM principles, and as I mentioned, energy, daylight and fresh air will be taken by Ashu ji. So meanwhile, I would request you, if some of you wish to appear for GEM certified professional examination, I would request you to register immediately, because we will close this discounted fee offer 2,500 plus tax by tonight 12 noon. So after this webinar, I would request you all to please register for GEM certified professional examination. And as I mentioned, you can take the examination anytime in future. And after 12 p.m. today, we will close this discounted offer. So thank you so much, dear audience, students, faculties. Ashu ji, over to you.
All right, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Neeraj sir. Thank you so much, ASSOCHEM, for giving me an opportunity to discuss my 12 years journey and the technical parts with the young minds, of course, the future of the country, which they have to understand what opportunities are available in the sustainable industry. So, Neeraj sir, my screen is visible, my presentation. Can you just confirm me?
Absolutely. Perfect.
All right. Thank you. Perfect. So, guys, before, of course, going into the technical way, what I'm going to speak, energy, daylight, and IAQ, I just want to give you the background of the requirement of this in sustainability during this in this circuit. I'm sure most of you are following several conferences around the globe. This decade, which we say that 2020 to 2030, entire 10 years, is the climate action decade. Everyone have to focus on the climate change. If we do not if we do not work in this direction, we will be, our future is in the dark. And this is already the proven, because entire world, if you talk about the UNFCCC, if you talk about the UNEP, is talking about the temperature outside your home, the ambient temperature is going to raise by 4 degrees centigrade, how the natural resources we are using, and we have to reduce that by the 1.5 degrees centigrade as a saturation point. So this situation can be more worst than the COVID-19 what we have faced in last 6 months, because like Anurag has explained, this sustainability word is consists of the 5 elements of the nature: the Jal, Vayu, Agni, Prithvi, Akash. If we do not save these natural resources, we will not able to survive ourselves in the future. And this is for entirely for the future generation, because the people who has lived because natural resources. Yesterday only I was attending a one conference in New York, climate change. Entire world is talking about the climate group, and they are saying the entire world should have a carbon tax. Every company, every person should have a carbon tax policy on that. And these are the things which actually emerging, because in your colleges, in your schools, nobody tell you that these are actually the demanding way which the government or the international agencies are talking about it. So the sustainable, I'm not talking only the GEM, I'm talking about the entire sustainable movement which we are doing. We have to reserve, we have to save our natural resources. And this industry is growing in a big way, because if you are a person who are working in sustainability, that can work in any company around the globe. Because if you are a mechanical engineer, no need to go only in the automobile engineering, because automobile engineering also need the sustainable people in their companies. Similarly, any company you make your career, you want to make your career, but there's a sustainability as a career, you can work around the globe. So this was the background that how we are doing. Just going the technical part, because technology is changing in every 10 years, or if you do not improve yourself, if you do not upgrade yourself, you will be out from the 6 months before. No one thought about it that we will have so many online trainings or online webinars. No one thought about it that this is the something new came up after the pandemic. But the technologies overcome all those things. No one thought that we will not travel and we will do such so many people, because earlier when we were doing a training program, the 100 people in the one room to manage those is also the difficult job. Now I can see the more than 400 people, if they are participating in the webinar, 2000 people sometimes, so that can be possible in this online webinar. So the technology we need to understand. So my concern about the energy management best practices, and try to understand, guys, because if you save 1 kWh of energy, that means you are saving 2 kWh of energy in generation, because there is a lot of losses during the transportation of that energy to your home. So we can save so many power plants in India just saving the energy. You can imagine we are a population of 1.37 billion people in the country. If everyone save 1 kWh, that is huge number comes up. So many power plant can shut off, and everyone is talking about the clean energy, the renewable energy. So what are the best practices we should follow while doing the energy management? If you are a mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, architect, civil engineer, all of you are contributing in the energy consumption of the buildings. So how does it do that? So there is a, so this our GEM, if you go for the GEM certification, they talk about the code called Energy Conservation Building Code. I'm sure a lot of you might have not heard about this code, but this is kind of the mandatory code which is going to, every state is following the ECBC code. You cannot design or construct a building if you are not following this code in your design. And this is huge requirement in India. Only the 122 people, only 122 people are the certified master trainer as an energy conservation building code. And you can imagine that the India is so huge, there's a few people because these are the courses actually which we need to learn during our engineering or during our working, because the government is facing a lack of people are involved in this, and this is something is emerging. So this code has a two method to comply. The one is the prescriptive method, and second is the whole building performance method. This is also the something very new in India, whole building performance method, which is called energy simulation. Now everything is going digitally. Similarly, if you imagine, you know some software which you can virtually make entire building without before construction. Before construction, if you can make virtual building and you can get your energy consumption, that how much energy my building will going to consume. So this is something the very innovative things which actually now these days we can do whatever the changes we want in our building design or during the construction, we can do before in the virtual building in the software. And this is something very few, if I talk about the 300 or 400 people in India actually knows this simulation software. There's a huge requirement worldwide. Like I am an energy analyst, I am energy consultant. I am working for the several energy modeling projects for the clients in US, clients in Saudi Arabia. They need our support from India to do those kind of modeling. So this is also the something which you can learn during your this course. So of course, when we go for any commercial building for the GEM certification, they need to follow the ECBC latest code from the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. I'm sure some of you might heard about the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, who give the star labeling on the equipment. If you go to the 5-star, if you go to the purchasing air conditioning or the lighting or the fan, there is a star label come, the 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. This is given by the Ministry of Power, which is the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Similar for the building, like you are working in some building and you are not aware that building is consuming more energy or the less energy, is a 5-star or 3-star. Similarly for that, they also give the star labeling. Residential building, very important part, because after this pandemic we understand how the home is most important. Everyone is working from home, and home residential we play a vital role in the energy consumption. I'm sure most of you have seen during the summer season when the air conditioning is on, your energy consumption of your house goes very increased. And this is something we need to understand in the design, that how the window, wall, roof, this how does it impact. Guys, please understand the building physics. Why we need air conditioning, because Anurag was telling the air conditioning, my major expertise in energy when I say the air conditioning. 20 years back or 25 years back, you were living with your, I think when you born that time, or some of you have not born, but you think about it, air conditioning was in your house, it was there. No, I think the air conditioning was a luxurious item and very few people opt that. And we were not having any requirement. But what happened these days now? Why the air conditioning demand has increased? What is the way behind it? Because you please understand, we have changed the design of our building. If you go to your grandparents' house, you will see the building design in those days. Proper ventilation was there. From one side the air was coming, and other side it is a cross ventilated properly. But now these days we are making a compact building and no air circulation there, and we are putting air conditioning to cool that building. We are fortunate that we have a sun as a god. We are always, the sun is there, but sun gives a light and sun gives a heat also. We need to understand, we need to design our building in such a way that our less heat come from outside to the inside. If we are getting a less heat, then we need to put less air conditioning in those systems. And this can happen as a civil engineer, and as an architect you can do very better. because if you do the proper orientation of the building, you will put a proper materials of the wall or the roof, then the heat from outside to the inside can be very less, right? Another thing that, of course, as a mechanical engineer or electrical engineer, you play a very, very important role in the lighting design and HVAC, which is called heating, ventilation, air conditioning system. These technology, if we are using, we need to understand how much optimization we can do to reduce the energy consumption. And this is the HVAC and the LPD, which is called lighting power density, we use in this design. So ECBC code is a code from the Ministry of Power. Please guys, after this program, I request to each one of you do the Google about this, because you will understand more better what actually ECBC is. So building, so it can reduce the building demand. This is the efficient building. And then now these days, everyone is talking about the net zero or net positive, net carbon positive building. So these carbon positive or the net zero building can be done with the help of renewable energy, but we need to make first more efficient building, then go with the renewable. Solar, putting a solar is not an energy efficiency. If we want to do energy efficiency, we need to do proper envelope design in that. So these are the actual integrated process. How can we make our building more efficient? Also, the principle 23 talks about the energy management best practices. So I told you that there's a ECBC compliance method is directly, and there is a prescriptive method. If we do all the method which is explained in energy conservation building code, if we follow that, our building can be more energy efficient. For the residential specific, because why building? Because a lot of people always says industry consumes more energy or something. But please guys, building, if you talk about the entire global way, the 40% energy goes in the buildings. You construct a building and you do not demolish for the next 50 years or 60 years, your energy consumption is going increasing in that way. So that is the reason building plays a very, very important role in carbon emissions, what we are having. So this is something is highlighting the glazing, what kind of glass we should use. Very important, because I'm sure a lot of you are not aware what kind of glass we should purchase. You have traveled in the 2-tier or 3-tier air conditioning coaches in the train. You have seen the different glass there, because you in that 2-tier or 3-tier AC coaches, you cannot see outside properly, because they have a 2-layer of the glasses and the vacuum in between. Very few buildings in India, you will see such kind of glass, which is called the DGU glass, double glazed glass. So whenever you construct your house also, this sustainability is not for the big building. Sustainability, either you are making a 100 square feet home, what features you can utilize to save energy or save water. This is something is explained in this GEM principles. So they have the detailed how we calculate. There is a term called, because this is for the new construction when we talk about one, but if you have an existing building and you want to understand what is my energy consumption of that, so how can we compare with the national benchmark? There is a term called energy performance index, EPI. Whatever the energy consumption divided by total built up area, this will be your EPI of that building. And you can compare that EPI with the Bureau of Energy Efficiency standard, that what EPI the BE is talking about in your climate zone. So this is something, once you go in the detailed examination process, you will go through the GEM guide, you will get to know more about it. But huge requirement in the energy sector. I was reading somewhere an article, still the 7 or 8% people in India having an access of air conditioning, and this is increasing in a big way. And this technology, because I am as a mechanical engineer always thought about that I will go in the automobile, but air conditioning is a huge opportunity, lot of development, lot of invention is happening to reduce the carbon emission, and this is something we can focus in that direction also. Principle 24, which is called efficient electrical equipment. So many equipments we have in the building, which is electrical equipment where the energy goes actually. So there is a requirement for transformer. If you have a transformer in your building, those transformers should be compliant with ECBC code, energy conservation building code. They have a requirement what should be the maximum losses in any transformer on the 50% load or the 100% load. Similarly, for the motors, very much consuming in industries. You have seen so many motors, but there the efficiency comes. There is efficiency comes in the terms of IE1, IE2, I3, I4, I5, and BE also gives the rating to those motors. And we need to understand that we need to opt the higher efficiency motor in that. Otherwise, there is huge consumption going in every time. So this is the principle 24 talks about the efficient electrical equipment system. And if you installed the motor with IE2, you will get 1 point. I3 you will get 2 points. So very simple concept. It is not required any detailed calculation what kind of equipment you've done. If you just install, as if you have an electrical consultant in your project and they are installing that product, you will get directly point in that area. What you have to give as a proof, you need to give as a invoices and the catalog or the brochure of the transformer or motors in that. Principle 25, very use of imperishable energy resources when we talk about the renewable energy. Last week only, the government of India is talking about the renewable energy generation in India should be double or triple. They have a huge target by 2022. And this is the option when otherwise the coal, how the carbon emissions we are doing, and this ozone layer get distracted because of that. The clean energy is the option to offset that, because we have to move from coal power plant to the renewable energy plant. Otherwise, we will not able to face the proper climate in upcoming years. And that is the reason this GEM certification also promote that every building should do a minimum installation of solar at their site. Every building should have their own electricity generation thing. So this is they have a requirement for the 5 to 25%. I'll show you that what is that. If you do the 5%, if you have a project which is putting a 5% of the contract demand solar or the wind or either the hydro, that's the 1 point they will get. It is till the 25% of the total contract demand they get the 5 points. Now these days, not required only at your building. If you have a building, you don't have a space to put a solar, you can do the off-site investment also, which is called, right, like in Raja, I belong to the Jaipur, and major people are doing, they have a building in Jaipur or some other area, but they are installing the solar in Bikaner or Jaisalmer, in those areas to improve, to enhance the clean energy process. So this is something, this principle talks about the imperishable energy resources, and we need to give the proof as a brief report, drawing, and the purchase bills, how we are doing. But solar is a huge demand. You can see the National Skill Development Council is focusing on solar installation. You will see, sir, in the next 5 to 10 years, I can ensure you every house will have a solar, because I have seen, because we do a lot of solar installation, we have seen the bill of the individual house owner as a zero. Sometimes the monthly bill doesn't come, because sometimes now these days the policy from the government is so favorable, you can generate your own electricity. You don't need to take the electricity from the grid. Whatever you generate, like if you are generating every day your electricity, but the 2 day or the 1 day your office is off, like Sunday or Saturday office is off, but your electricity is generating by the solar plant, you can trade off that electricity to the government department, and your entire bills can be zero sometimes if you do such kind of work. That is the reason the net zero energy building, net positive energy building is in the process to make in India, already developed in India. So this is something is the future which we have to understand. Principle 26 talks about the optimal use of natural light, which is the natural light. You have seen this, like this directly related to the productivity of the person. If you work in a basement area, your productivity of the working will be different. And if you work in the natural daylight area, your productivity will be different. And this is already proven study with the patients. Like there are some case studies available of the hospital's case study. If you put the patient in the basement area where no daylight is coming, the recovery rate of the patient was very high. But if you put same in the natural daylight area, the patient can recover very fast in that area. And this is something we need to understand already why the IT buildings, several hotels are going towards the green building certification sustainability, because they have understood the major cost of any building is the employee. If the employee productivity get distracted, they cannot make more money in that, and they need to take care their building should be, because those buildings should have the natural light or air in the building. And this is something the optimize this credit talks about, the optimized use of natural light. You have seen, so this principle says there are the two methods to prove that. One is the simulation, same how we do the energy simulation, we do the daylighting simulation also. We can construct the building virtually, and we can put the climatic condition weather file, and we can see that how much daylight is coming inside the building. And these kind of software we need to learn as an engineer. As an engineer and architect, very important method is to learn the software. So this is the this is the simulation method we can prove, and with the report and how much daylight, how much occupied area having a daylight, this results we will get from the help of simulation software. So this is the picture of the simulation software, like when natural light is available in the space, how much it is coming. Now the technology is also, when you talk about the lighting, the technology has been immersed in last 10 years. 10 years back, I remember that time, the people having the 100-watt incandescent bulb those days. Now those similar lux level you can get in the 5-watt LEDs also. Now the sensors are there, several sensors, occupancy sensor, you just enter in the building, light will on, out, light will off. Daylighting sensor, how the daylighting is coming, your artificial light can be off. So these kinds of sensor technology, sensor companies are coming up every day. Everything is talking about IoT, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence. So building can also have the similar work. These all technologies can interrelated to each other. So ECBC 2017 daylighting requirement also there, and this principle follows the same. There is some simulation software available, Ecotech, Radiance, IES, Rhino. You can use any kind of software and prove with the help of this software this principle about it. So this is the reference guide is talking about the requirement, that what the requirement it is. So we have to prove that 40% of the occupied space area having a daylight requirement, then we will get one. It is the mandatory, and otherwise they have a 4 points also. If you do the 60% or 80%, we will get the 4 points maximum in that. So daylighting, if we also put the daylighting or occupancy sensors in the building, we can get the 2 points in that, in this principle. Principle 27, which I need to cover, and I need to focus more on that, because this is, we have seen in the COVID situation how the indoors are most important in our life. Government is talking about the outdoor air, because I'm sure some of you might be belong to Delhi. After the November or December, during those days, once the farmers burns the residue, and of course the Diwali times comes up. So everyone talking about the air quality is so poor. We were using the mask on those days. We were not thought about it that we will wear the mask so much, but the Delhi people were using the mask in their daily life. The air quality was so poor. But try to understand the point, how much time we spend outdoor. The 90% of the time of most of the human beings, they spend their time inside the space. Either it is a home or office or car or metro or anything. 90% of our daily time we spend in indoors. And how the indoor quality is important for our life, because you are aware what kind of water you are drinking, what kind of food you are taking, but are you aware what kind of air you are breathing inside the lungs? So this is something we need to understand how, because indoor condition, you are putting a air conditioning system and you are closing all the doors of your room. There is no oxygen coming inside the building. The people inside the room are emitting carbon dioxide. There is no oxygen in that room. What kind of indoor air it is? And this is something we need to understand, the indoor air quality. And this is during your engineering, during your master's program, you guys need to understand your project in this sector, indoor. And this is, we have seen the conditions in several places in India. The PM 2.5 particulates, PM 10 particulates is so high, we are not able to survive. And that was the alarming condition. Due to the COVID, industry was shut off, that people are not on the road. These condition air quality index is in range, but this is the temporary. Next 2-3 months we will see more, but after that what will happen? Again the same situation will come, and how we'll be able to survive? We will get a lot of problem related to asthma, related to our lungs. We will not able to survive, and this is air quality we have to understand. So this JAM certification principle says the building you make, it is for the people, and those people should get the fresh air mandatory. Fresh air like is a mandatory, and that is the reason this says that building should have 62.1. The ASHRAE 62.1 talks about the fresh air, and we need to provide those fresh air inside the building. We also need to clean whatever the air is coming from outside to the inside. We need to clean that air, and this is we can do with the help of the filtration media. There are several filtration medias are available, which is which can increase, because whatever the air conditioning we are using, if you look at the 15 days, the condition of the filter is so worst. You will see your split ACs or the Windows AC, whatever you are using at your house, you will see in the 15 days how the condition works and out, what kind of air we are inhaling in our body. And this is in the centralized building where the centralized air conditioning is happening. The proper cleanliness, proper treatment, and proper filtration media we need to put, and this principle talks about it. Similarly, we also need to also install the permanent carbon dioxide monitoring. Like if you have a classroom building, in that classroom, you 50 people or 60 people are studying, everyone is emitting carbon dioxide, and at some level the carbon dioxide level is so high, and people will not able to sit there. And that is the reason where we should have a carbon dioxide monitoring station there. So they should get an alarm that the carbon dioxide is going so high, we need to put some oxygen, and this is happening in the building. So of course I'm talking about the entire sustainable building. It can reduce the carbon emission by 30%. Water use 40% reduction. Water, very important part. We will not able to survive single day if we do not have a drinking water. And this is how we are wasting our water in our daily life. I seriously, sometimes it alarms me that how the future is going to do that. Energy uses, if you make that building, there is a huge potential in India. The energy consumption can be reduced by 50%, and it can generate a huge job opportunity. Guys, during this COVID, there is an agency called International Energy Agency. They do the IEA, is a UK based, and of course they do the survey. And energy efficiency and sustainability is only the carrier option, because this is come from the waste. In existing factory, if the energy bill is coming around 100,000 rupees, and if they save 10,000 or 20,000, they can hire one more person. It can generate a maximum jobs at this moment. If this pandemic is, and if the government mandate these kind of norms, it can generate huge job opportunities. And of course, the waste is a wealth. I never say the waste actually is a wealth. A lot of several startups are coming in the waste management process. So one building, sustainable building, can reduce so much carbon emission in that area. Now we are talking about the intelligent building, a smart building. Everything is on cloud. You can get the entire energy, water parameter, and air parameter on the cloud also. And ASSOCHAM JAM is doing the same way. that we can have entire building on the cloud and can do the data analytics. This is the first kind of the new concept they have made in that area. So these real-time monitoring, that how much the minimum nitrogen oxide and the carbon dioxide, they can monitor the air quality parameters also. And this is for every project, the GEM portal, they are managing these things. So healthy indoor air quality is very, very important part, and they have mandatory criteria that fresh air is minimum we have to provide in the building. So in the last, I think I would say the sustainable building market is growing every year to year, huge requirement. If you look at, because I follow several companies and articles on the LinkedIn, every day I'm reading a new innovative policy is coming around the globe on sustainability. Sometimes someone say the circular economy, sometimes they say the energy efficiency, water efficiency, but entire sustainable market is a huge demand, huge career opportunities, but people have to come forward in this industry. So this is, guys, I'm sure most of you will write this exam, then you will have this certified professional certificate. It will adds up a lot of value in your CV, because either you go any company or any field, either you are in the teaching or anywhere, your this credential will help you a lot, because this will something make your CV filtered with this credentials. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone for listening me patiently. I think I will be more happy to take some questions. And again, thanks to ASSOCHAM JAM to giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts. Thank you, so Neeraj sir. Over to you now.
This wonderful presentation that you have covered energy, daylight, and fresh air things. So, friends, we have received many questions on the question box. We will take around 4 or 5 questions because we have some limited time, and most of the questions are about GEM certified professional examination. So, I will again like to make it clear that GEM certified professional, this is an online examination. First of all, this is an open book examination. You can take the examination anytime as per your convenience from your home or offices. You need not to go to any center to take the examination. And say for example, I am a candidate, and if I register it today, so benefit of registering for today is that today with the special approval of from our council, we are offering this GEM certified professional examination. For today only, the fees is 2,500 plus tax till 12 p.m. In the night. And this fees is for the universities and students, those who have signed MOUs with us. So I would request you all the students and faculties and professionals in this group, those who are attending this program, I would request you all to please register today only and take the benefit of this 50% discount in the fee. And once you register, you can take the training anytime. So many times the question is that when we will take the exam. So you can take the exam after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, anytime, as per your convenience, whenever you feel that you are comfortable. And friends, I would like to add here that with this procedure, with this system, around 740 plus candidates have taken the GEM certified professional examination, and they have received the certificate from ASSOCHAM, which is a national apex oldest chamber of country. So as mentioned by Mr. Ashu, you can make your career in green building certification things. So say for example, you are an architect, or you are a MEP consultant, or you are an environment consultant, energy green building consultant. So you can certify your buildings, your projects under GEM Green Building Certification Program with the help of your GEM Certified Professional Certificate. With this certificate, you will be eligible, able, or approved by ASSOCHAM to conduct this GEM Certified Professional certification for your projects. So this is a certificate kind of license kind of certificate which you can utilize. And if you are a student, this will give you added advantage that once you complete your degree, your qualification, this will be a very good feature that any company will know that you have interest in green and sustainable things, and this will be a added benefit for you. So take best advantage of this time because you are mostly working from home. You are attending the colleges from home, schools from home. So this is a good time to upgrade and enhance your curriculum, your CV, your resume, and many of I can see in the box that many of you have already registered during this period. So our discounted payment lines are open till 12 noon in the night, 12 p.m. in the night. So I would request you all to please register for this and make maximum benefit of this. Thank you so much. With this, I would like to thank you, Anurag ji. Thank you so much for joining us for this wonderful webinar. We are thankful to you. We are thank you to you, Ashu, for giving a wonderful lecture on energy, daylight, and fresh air things. Thank you so much. Hope we will call you again in our future programs, next programs. Thank you so much. Thank you, SOCHM IT team, for conducting this wonderful program. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, audience, students, and faculties, for carefully listening to us. I can see that we have a good number of attendees since the beginning of this program. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Neeraj sir. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Amit, please close the program.